Hi guys, I'm Mark and I'm an Oyster Boy. I'm back again for another beer brewing video, and this time it's a pretty cool one for me actually. I think this may be a YouTube first. So what I've got here is one of the brand new Grainfather all grain kits. So Grainfather have obviously been making equipment for a long time, and now they are moving towards supplying ingredients as well. So if you're an experienced brewer that wants to make something that is reliable, and if you're a new brewer that's just picked up your Grainfather and you want to throw in an extra kit that is specifically made for your system and will come with a full set of instructions that is tailored for whatever system it is that you're using, this is probably the thing you want to look out for. So first off, packaging looks pretty cool. Nice bit of artwork on there. I'll just show you how that all looks, but there will be a little top-down view, which we may switch to in a moment. And I'm gonna open this up and show you what comes inside one of these. But just to read what it says on the side of the box, it says this is gonna be deep black with a creamy tan head, rich coffee and dark chocolate lead with hints of licorice and burnt toast, layered with roasted malt and subtle note of dark cherry. A gentle malt sweetness balances the palate, finishing clean and invitingly dry. So it's got an OG of 1050, 28 IBUs, ABV of 5.2% and 63 EBCs. So should be pretty nice. Let's take her open and see what we get inside. So, as we said, you get quite a comprehensive set of instructions that you're going to get with this. You'll also receive your packet of yeast, your pre-weighed out hops. Now with this one being the stout, there's only going to be one hop addition, which is a bitter and hop addition. After that, just boil. You'll get your kettle finings as well, lovely 2 grams of those. It tells you on the end there, add 10 minutes before the end of the boil. However, the Grainfather will remind you to do that. And then you get your bag of pre-crushed grain. That's all you need. The link is going to be up there and down there where you can buy this, and I'm going to now go and show you how to put it all together. Right, so we are getting the Grainfather Blackened Stout on today, which has extra pale flaked barley, roasted barley and brown malt. That's what I've got in there. It definitely smells like a stout already. I'm not even mashed in yet properly. So this is probably going to be delicious. I used the delayed heat function on the Grainfather today, set everything up last night, which meant that when I got up this morning, or when my child woke me up this morning, we were ready to go. Yeah, so give this a big old stir, make sure you don't see any little lumps in there. I see a lot of people using a whisk for this instead of a paddle now. Probably quite sensible, to be fair. What I like to do is, when I turn the recirculation pump on, is I like to sort of hose down the sides of the basket with it. Just get all that grain dust off. There we go. We'll leave that for an hour and it'll take itself up to 75. Hi guys, I'm Mark.
I'm Penny.
And we are the Oyster Boys, and we're back again. Exciting times for another beer review. This one, I think, a YouTube first beer review.
I know, so obviously you've already done the unpacking of this.
Yep.
But first time I'm seeing it, so it's nice packaging, isn't it?
I think so,
Yeah. So, I mean, straight away, look at that.
It's QR codes galore as well.
Exactly.
Like, scan here to download the app, scan here to download the recipe,
But I think
like that's making life easy.
I think one of the things that we were saying is the fact that you can now scan the QR code and the recipe comes up straight away. Because the worst thing is if you type it in and make the recipe, you go, fuck, there was already one there.
Yeah.
I've gone through all that effort.
And first, if I'm ever making a beer kit, normally the first thing I do, because I've used Grainfather since I got into all grain really. After I got rid of my huge 3-vessel kit and got a Grainfather, first thing you do when you go on the app is, after you've bought recipe kit, you go, has someone else made this before? Can I just copy their recipe? But now, you don't have to because you get the official one, which is absolutely mega. But yeah, I think it's really well packaged up. All the information's great. The instructions are pretty comprehensive. So you could buy this kit and use it on a non-Grainfather system
you can use it
easily, but it is kind of tailored for it.
Yeah, perfect for all brewing systems, perfect for all levels of brewing, so for you as well.
But so the way that these are sized, so it's 20-litre kits, and the way it's done, it's basically, if you want to do it on a G30, you get 1. If you do it on a G40, you get 2 and get 40 litres out. And if you do it on a G70, you get 3 and you get 60 litres out of it. So yeah, pretty cool.
I do hate all that 19. I know it's to do with the American imperialism.
So 19's to do, I think, with the size of a corny keg. To be honest.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But I mean, because I've got like the big corny kegs and then I've got some small ones as well, I just do whatever size I want, and then whatever's left over, I'll just put into something else.
Whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Right, shall I get these in the glasses?
Yeah, let's do it.
Right, I will do that now.
Oh. Look at this.
I may not be the best pourer of them in the world.
Oh, look at that.
So as some people may know, the avid viewers, I am not so much of a stout drinker
No?
as you. I'm more of a stout
I had a couple
fellow.
of Guinnesses yesterday, so yeah.
I'm more of a stout fellow, I think, but
Yeah.
a stout drinker is more your kind of thing than
Yeah.
mine. However,
You've gone all out.
I have had this on tap for a little while now.
Okay.
And I've had quite a few pints of it. And normally I'd never drink dark beers at home. But I think one of the big differences for me, like why I'm enjoying this, more than previous dark beers that I've done, is the gas.
Okay.
So whenever I've done all of my beer in the past, pretty much it's all been on pure CO2.
Yeah.
And I thought, as I'm doing a stout, I'm going to do a stout.
You already had the
properly.
gas, didn't you?
I did already have the gas. I had sat in storage for a long time a bottle of 70-30, so it's 70% nitrogen, 30% CO2.
You'd use it for espresso martinis.
I've done it for, I think, for espresso martinis, yeah. And I thought, well, I'm going to get it out of retirement. I'm going to do this.
Yeah. It's what PSI as well. It's
About 40. It's about
so
40 psi.
That's super
And
high.
then there's a restrictor plate in the tap that knocks all the CO2 out of solution.
Okay.
So it should be a fairly, I don't think flat's the right word.
Yeah,
but it's not going to be a fizzy
fizz.
beer. But you get this lovely, thick, creamy head and a really nice silky mouthfeel. So, have a little read of what it said on the box about how it should look, and then we'll see how well I did or
So it
didn't
says
do.
deep black with a creamy tan head, check. I mean rich coffee and dark lead with hints of licorice and burnt toast, layered with roast malt and subtle notes of dark cherry. A gentle malt sweetness balances the palate, finished clean and invitingly dry.
Okay, so looks, as always, looks is first.
Yeah, it's great. A 9 for me.
And only a 9. I mean, what would I have to do to get a 10 for a stout?
Well, it's not 10 on a stout, it's the best looking
Right,
beer,
yeah.
isn't it?
So you prefer other looking beers, yeah. I mean, I think
Are you
it's,
going to give it a 10 then?
I was going to give it a 9.5 actually, yeah, because I... It's 9.5 out of 10. The only thing I'd make it think would look better was if it was a hoppy pale ale.
There you go.
Do you want to go for aroma?
Yeah,
I don't know how we're going to be, how much aroma we'll get out of it, because it's got a very
hoping to get
thick
some, you know.
head. Oh no, you can straight away, can't you?
Yeah.
Super roasty, toasty, like
Yeah, it's definitely
coffee and like
get that
burnt
toast. Yeah, absolutely, like that ashiness, and then just that sort of little sweetness that you get quite often with some of them. So I'm hoping it's going to follow through, because sometimes when I get like a stout or a porter, sometimes it's like too plummy, if that makes sense. It's almost too.
I've drank quite a bit of this. I think you're like.
No, I know, but what my point is being is you're not getting that, which is good. So it's really inviting me in. So it's everything I'd want from a stout.
And what are you going to give it on aroma?
Oh, it's really good, really good. So I'm going to give it 8.5.
Yeah. I think I think I'll join you on there.
Yeah?
Yeah. It smells great though. My glass obviously isn't as clean as yours. I didn't do as good a job. This must be the one my wife is using.
It's a good bedtime drink.
Yeah. Should we give it a taste?
Absolutely.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh. That's really good, isn't it? Really good.
That is really nice.
It's really, it is
Almost split
really
the,
dry as
almost split the
well.
O.
Yeah.
I almost split the O.
Why don't you always see that? Oh, well done, mate. You've managed to swallow a big mouthful of it. Do you know, apparently because of that, you know when they had the shortage, was it this Christmas or the Christmas before?
I don't think there was really a Guinness shortage, mate. Do you think there was actually a Guinness shortage?
I think one of my friend's wives works
an
in
old wives'
logistics.
tale. It's an old wives' tale, is what you're saying.
One of my friend's wives works in logistics, and apparently there was talk of a shortage potential. And I think a lot of it was because it was a trend on Instagram.
People then were
so many people
buying.
were buying. No, they weren't. Well, I don't know if they panic buying. I think just generally they must work so far ahead with the the production and how many they're going to do, and it must have just maybe that it just increased so much in the summer that it then drove further sales down. I don't know. But anyway, it's funny. Yesterday I was on night and someone said to me, it was my mate's wife's partner. I went, isn't that just your mate?
Oh dear.
Anyway,
back to the beer. So, what do you think? Like, let's again compare it to the taster notes. What we got? We should have had rich coffee and dark chocolate led with hints of licorice and burnt toast, layered with roasted malt and subtle notes of dark cherry. Gentle malt sweetness, balancing the palate, finishing clean and invitingly dry.
Certainly get the licorice.
Yeah.
Sort of as it goes down. Probably not much of the cherry. Maybe that's licorice, dark cherry. Maybe.
Yeah.
Similar notes. Yeah. Certainly dry. Definitely.
Oh
so,
yeah, 100%. Yeah. It's like because it's so dry. I think it feels like it's slightly more bitter than the 28 IBUs it says on there.
63.
Stouts generally. Oh, that's EBC. That's the colour.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
IBUs is the business there, mate. So good. We'll get you there one day. So yeah, it's very very dry, very quite bitter, which you'd expect from a stout. And I think that what they're saying, coffee, dark chocolate, so licorice, burnt toast, roasty, toasty, dark cherry. It is very subtle. It says it's subtle. It's very subtle.
It's so subtle on the set.
But
we're splitting hairs there. I think
it's really. And for a guy who, how long have we been doing these videos for now? Since COVID, right?
So 6 years, something like that.
5-6 years. When have you ever seen me embrace a dark beer?
No, never.
But this is nice.
Yeah. What am I going to score it? Oh yeah, 8.5.
Yeah, I was going to give it an 8.8, and it's a dark beer. So for me,
there you go.
An 8.8 on a dark beer really is like a 12.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
That's 10 plus.
Yeah, it's incredible. I'm fairly easy to drink.
Go on.
You carry on.
No,
you first, please.
Okay, I was going to say, do you know the price? Because are they out yet?
Almost out. Be out when this video's out. They are going to be £29.99. So it's 30 quid for the kit. And that made 35, 36-ish pints. So I'm going to say it was 85p a pint.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And obviously it's you get all the grain, yeast, hops. You get a packet of kettle finings as well in there too. So yeah, it's basically takes away. The thing I like about these is if you're at a level where you could go and do your own recipe kits, go and do your own recipe kits. But if you just want to have an easy brew day, order one. It arrives. All you're going to need to do is simply add water. Right? Do you know what I mean? Everything in there is in there, and you're not thinking, oh, I've got this, I've got that. You can just go crack on, add water. But if you're a brand new brewer, you're buying yourself a Grainfather, and you think, I need a reliable, easy recipe that is going to work well with my Grainfather, just buy one of them with it.
Yeah, I mean to be fair, like I'd probably say my split would be more 70, maybe 75% pre-made kits versus them writing my own, because someone's already done it and tried it.
Yeah, they've made all the mistakes for you, and then you just go and crack on and make it.
If let's say I go, well, I really want to make a Guinness-like beer, or a really, a stout that's
a reliable stout,
they're not going
solid tested
to,
stout.
certainly if it's, and it's just like, well, instead of like trying to, like you say, test it and stuff like that, just get that. And then what I would do is maybe, if I go, oh, that's a bit too hoppy for me, then you can just dial down it on the next one.
Do it a second time, change it. And actually, when you've bought it, when you unpack it and everything, they do put the full recipe is printed on the bags when you buy it. So it's not like it comes with a bag of grain that says grain bag A and hot bag B, and just tells you a total weight. So once you've made it that first time, you know exactly what's in it. So then you can go and tweak and change that recipe to your liking.
Yeah.
I know that there's some retailers do give away that information, other retailers don't. I feel like all retailers should, ideally. I know that if I'm buying something from the supermarket, it won't tell me the full breakdown on it, but I'm not going to go and try and re-engineer orange squash. You know what I mean? It's like, if I'm wanting to make a beer at home, I want to be able to tweak it and stuff like that. So I'd say I think it's a really good kit. But price-wise, 85p a pint.
Very good.
I'd give it like an 8.5.
Yeah, I was going to give it 8.5. Yeah, definitely.
Sessionability.
You've already done it, so.
I've not had a full session on it, but it's 5.2%, so it's not mad strong.
No.
I mean, if you're going to go into a pub and order a pint of stout that's on tap in the pub, so it's probably going to be Guinness or London Black or Murphy's or something like that. How strong is the stout in a pub, roughly?
Yeah, well, Guinness is usually, is it 4.9?
Just under that 5%.
It used to be stronger, and I think it dropped down. I don't know about Murphy's and London Black. I have a feeling that London Black's slightly stronger, but it's not a million miles off. So, yeah, I mean, I'd quite happily. I mean, Guinness is if I go to a shit pub.
What you get.
Yesterday, they had what's it called? I went there and they had Broxton. Is it Broxton?
Oh,
Brooklyn,
right, okay.
And then they had Beer Moretti.
Yeah.
Champagne on draft, or not champagne, but
sparkling wine on draft.
And then they had Australia, which, do you know what? I don't mind Australia. It's not that offensive, but I was like, I think Guinness is the best choice out of that. But usually it's when you go to a pub and it's like they've got John Smith's, Foster's,
Kronenberg, and Kronenberg,
and Guinness. You're like, we're gonna go for Guinness.
Full Whitley Neal back bar.
You know the bar, mate. It's a flat roof boozer.
Yeah.
It's got a Sky Sports on the window outside. Some guy with a pit bull. Not a pit bull,
on a bit of string.
Yeah. Having a vape.
Inside.
With his bits bag. Yeah.
So anyway, back to so how many of these would you have on a session? So I think
I think what's different from this that maybe Guinness is those malty flavours are probably a lot more pronounced in that. Which is probably what you want from a craft beer as opposed to a generic session beer that's built for session. So I would say 7.
Yeah.
Pints for me,
Yeah. I'm gonna match your 7, which is for me.
Yeah, mega.
Absolutely mega.
Yeah.
This would probably be my highest scoring ever dark beer that we've won. So yeah. But
That's the title for the thing, Mark's highest scoring dark beer, ?
Yeah, I think so.
There we go.
But no, I mean, I've really enjoyed this. The kit was an absolute
easy to make.
I'll dial that back. But yeah, it was really easy to make, really packaged well, and I think it's a solid one. I'd recommend it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. Definitely.
Absolutely. Do you want to know the Oyster score?
Go on. Oh,
here.
Someone wants to do a bit of editing.
Here is the Oyster score for this beer. Smash like, hit subscribe.
Can you make it fade up like they do with the Guinness to appear? Can you do some sort of filter on that?
I'll fade us out like that. Smash like, hit subscribe. I'll put links up here and down there for where to get this from and the other kits in the range as well. So yeah. Thanks very much for watching, guys.
All right.
Oysters out.